Today, learn about the most common error codes on the internet, what they are, what you can do about it, and how to contact the system administrator if you actually need to. My name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and if ever you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and or PC horror stories, you can always email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. You can always go to my website, tqaweekly.com, and interact with the community for each of the specific episodes I put out. And of course, use the contact page to email me directly. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, Blip.tv, Vimeo, or anywhere else I post to every single week, you can always comment down below. Today's title is 404 Error Page Not Found, and it has to do with a question that somebody actually asked me at one of my jobs. So many people have computers, laptops, tablets, and or mobile phones. We tend to believe that we can actually use them. We tend to understand how they kind of work. Most people are not understanding completely how they work. Some people actually blame devices when they're unable to do various tasks, whether the application crashes, whether the operating system fails, or the device for no apparent reason turns off, usually because of the battery. And of course, they tend to actually believe that their gadget is at fault when they receive an error code from a specific website. So today's episode is all about helping you out, figuring out what these error codes or service codes on the internet actually mean on the internet. So next time it happens to you, you don't actually immediately think your gadget is at fault. So when it comes to the internet, servers talk to each other using confirmable information code. So things that basically confirm success or failure over the internet from server to server, and you eventually get this message attributed to some of the code on your screen to help you out figure out what's going on. Not that you can do very much, and you're going to understand why. So they communicate with an informational 3-digit long code that benefits itself in being both standard and clear in what it specifically means. If you go to tqaweekly.com/SE4EP49 and go to the sources, there is a link from Wikipedia that gives you the entire list of every single one of those informational codes. I only pulled out 5 common codes that you might actually see on the internet. So first of all, any informational 3-digit code that starts with a 1 is basically information in itself. It's just information shared between two servers, and that's it. Codes commencing with the number 2 define success, and because it was successful, you pretty much never see it happening. Codes commencing with the number 3 are for redirectional and basically redirectional purposes only. It explains to the servers that the resource is actually somewhere else. Usually terminates with a confirmation code starting with a 2, which, and again, you will not see because unless you're actually going to developer mode of your browser, you don't see this information. Now, you do see the ones that start with a 4, which defines a client error, and a 5, which defines a server error. Now, error 500 is a generalized error that has a broad meaning, usually related to a server or application error. Error 500 is a gateway timeout error. In both these cases, and in most cases for 500 errors, there is nothing the client could do, being your device, because these are errors occurring outside of your gadget and have no implication to do with anything about your gadget whatsoever. Now, error 401 usually occurs when you haven't logged in successfully, most notably because you have a keystroke error. This is actually fairly rare, even though it would be common, because we have replaced that with a page that says you have entered the wrong username and or password. Error 403 explicitly states that you're forbidden to access that resource even if you have an account there. That's basically a ban. You can't do anything about it. It's not your device at fault. There's something about the server or the users on the server that is preventing you from accessing that website. And error 404, the most common error, states that the page you're looking for does not exist either because it was deleted or someone linked to the wrong page or you typed it in wrong. However, there is another exception to that. It's often the page put up for any error to prevent hackers from knowing what the actual errors were, because any other type of error would give them an idea of what's failing on the website. So error 404 is in fact the most common error, whether you typed it in wrong or not. So you might actually see an error 404 occur when an error 403 would have been shown instead. So what can be done about that? Well, first, let's just presume you're the one who typed in. If you're the one who typed it in, maybe you typed it in wrong. That is the limit of your liability to this problem. That is the only thing your computer or other devices have anything to do with any of these errors, and there's nothing else you could do. Unless you explicitly typed it in wrong, your computer's not at fault. You're the client, but not at fault. So that's what ends up happening. If it is something that is supposed to exist, you could always contact the system administrator, the webmaster, or even the informational desk of that website. If you can't get that information, you could always just guess, either by emailing info@the-domain that you were just at, or webmaster@the-domain you were just at. If these don't work, you can always do a whois, WHOIS, and then look up the domain name, the owner's email address, as well as their phone number might actually occur, and you can contact them through this specific method. However, is there anything advertently wrong with your computer when you get these errors? No. You can't do anything about it. Has nothing to do with your computer, has nothing to do with your gadgets. It has everything to do with the website. Whether it existed, never existed, or you typed it in wrong, your gadget's not at fault. At worst, you are the one who typed it in wrong, but if you're not the one who typed it in wrong, either the person who put it up on the internet typed it in wrong, or copied it wrong, or it never existed in the first place, and that is all you can do about that. So remember, if you want to see the full list of error codes and confirmational codes for HTTP, go to tqaweekly.com/SE4EP49. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, remember to subscribe, share if you think anybody else can benefit from this, and have a great day.